Does size matter? Hello, everyone. So I'm Tessa. This is Kai, but I'm Kai. Does size matter?
Well, what we're talking about today, well, it depends, right? It always depends, right?
It's a little controversial there, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about your audience.
Yes, yes. So, does size matter? I think here's the thing. We talk to a lot of people. This is the real reason why we're doing this show. We talk to a lot of people who maybe they're not ready to make that offer. Maybe they're not ready to sell yet or launch their product or whatever it is. And they're like, I'm just waiting. And so I'm not ready to do my social media. I'm not ready to grow my audience. I'm not ready to start talking about it. And here's the problem is that if you build it, people won't come. You probably hear me say this
It's
all the
not
time. It's just
contrary to
not how it
popular
works. So
belief.
you have to build the audience before you are ready to actually launch, right? And that is just, if you want a successful launch, that's really what it comes down.
Well, a lot of people, they think I'm going to hold off. I don't want somebody to steal my idea. I can't reveal what I'm going to do. Someone's going to take it. The honest truth is it takes a lot to build what you're building. Like, it's not like they just went out yesterday and, made a whole app or a product or a service. And so I know we're all afraid of it, but you have to build the audience. So they're fans in the stands for you when you get ready to launch.
Right.
You have to.
We're going to really talk about, two of 4 parts, really. So we're going to do the first part today, and then the second part we'll do next week because it does matter as well. But today we really want to talk to you about how much time do you have and how much time do you need, and your audience size. So let's first talk about the time, right? Because I think this is something, we just went into this. I still have time. And we told one of our group members in our M2C program, we talked to them about this and we went through this calculator that we're about to show you all. And she was like, mind blown. She's like, I didn't even think about, I wish I would have thought about this sooner, right? I wish I would have started working on building my audience sooner. And so that's why we're here, is because we want you guys to not be in that same situation where you're like, okay, I am 2 weeks out and I haven't built my audience, and I'm ready to launch. So now what?
And a lot of people ask the question of like, how big does my audience need to be? We're going to cover all of that. We've made it into a calculator.
In like 5 minutes, right?
In 5 minutes, because we're keeping this information super short for you. And again, we're going to have parts to this. So this is just the beginning part, but I'm going to go ahead and share the screen.
So while she's doing that, let's talk about time as the calculator is coming up. So time, do you need a lot of time to build your audience? It depends. So it depends on how you are building your audience. If you are relying on social media to build your audience, you need time, right?
It doesn't happen overnight.
Exactly. A lot of people think, okay, I'm going to open up my thing and then I'm going to put this viral reel on.
Oh, I've heard that so many times. How do I make a viral?
Come, and then it's going to be amazing. And that's just not the reality of how things happen. So social media is the long term, your long game.
Inbound. Right? It's inbound marketing. People are happening across you. It's not you going and getting them as much. But I have to say, like you mentioned the viral, the likeliness of you getting a viral, I wish I had the stats, but viral is something that happens on accident most of the time. It's just something you made something catchy enough or funny enough, or it hit a nerve and people were willing to share it out. You can plan that, but it's highly unlikely that you're going to just guess and your first post is viral. I'm just going to go viral.
And there's so much more to it than just going viral, but we're not going to dive into that today. So time, do you need a lot of time? Not necessarily, but if you're focusing solely on social media, yes, but you can shortcut it in so many other ways. And we are going to be talking about that. But I would still say, you don't want to wait till the last minute. No. Audience growth is very important. You want to give yourself more people who are ready for your product versus like, okay, I have a hot audience that I just got yesterday and now I'm going to sell them something. It doesn't matter how hot they are. It matters really, what does that relationship look like? Are you actually selling the right? And we're going to dive into all this. But today, right now, let's talk about audience size, because this is something I think will blow your mind.
It does. Well, and we're just doing an income of $1 million. Like, who doesn't want $1 million? But we'll get back to that. We just put in that number. And we're just guessing on a product. We're going to say it's 95.88. Not sure why we came up with that, but that's the one. It doesn't matter though.
Multiplied by 12. That's what you did over there. So that's
what I did. Oh yes, it's $7.99. So it was like an app, a typical app that might be a subscription monthly. That's what we were playing with number wise. So you would have to sell 10,430 of them in a year, right? Because that's a monthly. So in a year, you would have to do that. If you had a 2% conversion rate, which means you're converting 2% of that audience of 10,000, you're converting the 2% is the 10,000. You would have to have 521,000 people in your audience to be able to get to that. Doesn't that like create? It's insane to me when I realized that
is quite normal. 2 to 5%, especially if you're focusing on social media, is actually quite a normal conversion rate. So I just want you guys to consider that. Like, that's not like, oh, I'm doing really bad, I'm at 2%. The fact that you're converting 2% is actually a good thing, especially on social media when you consider all of the statistics and everything going on there. But obviously you want to like, how are you going to increase it? You want to increase your sales conversion rate. And that's actually what we're getting into next week.
Yes.
But right now we wanted to really just show you, like, what does this really look like for you?
It's an eye-opener.
You need to get in front of, and like, let's play with the numbers first.
Yes, let's play, because you don't necessarily need $1 million. Let's be real. You could probably survive off of, what number do you want?
Let's put in 200,000.
200,000. And you can play with this. We have this sheet. You're going to be able to download it. We'll have the link in the post. But this is 200,000, same price. We're looking at 2,000 you need to sell. If you had a 2% conversion rate, you need about 104,000 people in your audience. And we're talking, Kai, you mentioned this all the time about having someone who has 600 people, but they're making 20,000 a month, right? One of your clients. So you don't have to have a huge audience if you're converting higher. So she's probably in the 75% of her people convert on a regular basis.
And you also have to remember, price matters. So can we erase the $95 and let's put in, like, let's say that you are, so you're not an app person, but let's say that you maybe sell a course, and maybe your course is, I don't know, $400. I see them at $295 to $495. So $400. And that is, you need
500 sales, and $400 for a average cost of product sold. And you might have multiple products that you sell. So the number should be like the average over everyone. Do they buy one item? Do they buy two? But I think you guys will actually be able to play with these numbers. You can change your income goal, your cost of product, everything else calculates. And let me tell you, it took us a lot to get to this number, because this isn't something that's just out there. We had to, rack our brains and figure out, and actually turn to our trusty AI to figure out how to make this happen. But I'm so glad that we have it, because now I know, like, if my conversion rate is here, 5,000 people is doable within your social media to grow your audience. And we talk about that in our audience growth survival workshop. So it's at the bottom when you sign up for this calculator. There's a link. You can go to the workshop, but it's Move to CEO/SMS to get to that. And we hope to see you there. We have to run, but we hope to see you guys. And Kai, do you want to send us off with a final thought? I know you're
hey, here's the thing, guys. Don't wait. Okay. Don't wait to grow your audience. And if you build it, they won't come. So let's dispel that myth right now, because that's just not how it works. So if you want to make sure that when you finally do make that offer, you want, a lot of people saying, yes, I want this. Please start now. Don't wait until it's last minute. And then you're like sad because you're like, oh, it didn't work out and this just wasn't meant to be. No, you just didn't have the right people in the audience yet. So it has nothing to do with like, oh my gosh, you didn't do a good job or any of those things. It just takes time often, especially if you're going to be relying on social media, which I know a lot of people do. But if you guys want to find out other ways to grow your audience, we're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks. If you want to find out how to increase your conversion rate, that'll be next week. So watch us for the next week to really understand how this can work for you all.
Yes. And hit the bell to get reminders when we go live, so you don't miss any of our valuable trusty tips. We'll see you guys all next week. Have a blessed week.
Bye.